Nvidia, shall I use a bit of clickbait? It seems to be being done quite a lot right now on YouTube. End of the world, AI collapse, it's all over. DOJ subpoena, lots going on. Shall we cover it? I've been presented this news in the last 20 minutes on my live show. I've spent the last 5 to 10 minutes reading it, deciding on my reaction before I do bring it out. I don't want to be the first, but I do want to be the most accurate. And it's very important, this, because a lot of people are affected by the things that we say and the things that we do. And to say Nvidia is all over and it's going to collapse, certain people will get quite upset about that, and it will have a real effect. So I want to choose my words wisely. So over the last 5-10 minutes, I've been doing as much research as I can in 5 and 10 minutes to find out what's really going on. Now, I've got some headlines just come in. I'm making this live, so I'm making this pretty much on the fly. This has just been presented to me. First thing here, Nvidia gets Department of Justice subpoena in escalating antitrust probe. Looks bad, right? Doom and gloom. What's going on? We've got Meet Kevin saying AI is all going to collapse now. It's all going down the toilet. Okay? I've got this news here, which is very important. I will come on to that, a bit of a surprise. We've got breaking news just on Bloomberg about the subpoena. We've got the stock price going down the toilet. What's it all about? Well, let's have a listen in, and then I might surprise you with something. You ready? That's why it took me a few minutes just to put this together. Please do tap the like button. Consider subscribing. Is it all over for Nvidia? Have they broken the rules? Are they going to be sued, fined? Are they in trouble? Okay, let's read and let's listen first of all into Bloomberg. They've just presented this just some seconds ago. Here we go.
U.S. Justice Department has sent subpoenas to Nvidia and other companies seeking evidence that the chipmaker violated antitrust laws. This is according to people familiar with the investigation that our Bloomberg reporters have spoken to. We should point out we are still awaiting comment from Nvidia and the DOJ itself. Joining us right now is Ian King, Bloomberg News reporter covering the semiconductor space for us. Ian, talk to us a little bit about what it means when they say they're seeking evidence of antitrust violations. What exactly are they sort of hinting at?
So before we carry on with this, people want to be first. They want to get on the back of Nvidia's news to sell airtime, videos, press, whatever. Nvidia is the biggest story right now. As you've just heard from this reporter, they haven't got confirmation yet. Doesn't matter. Let's get the news out. Let's talk about it. And I've already got some information which will kind of unravel all this in a few moments, but let's hear from what they have to say.
Right. In this particular case, we've reported a while ago that there was questionnaires going out, that they were just sort of asking customers, asking competitors, what was going on in the market. The fact that this has gone to the subpoena stage, the legally enforceable request for information, is usually a sign of an escalation. In terms of what they might be looking for, things like bundling, things like taking action, perhaps punitive action against companies that don't use it exclusively, that perhaps look at other alternative suppliers, because as we know, Nvidia has a very, very tight control over the supply chain for a particularly important product at this point.
And when we talk about the DOJ making inquiries into these kinds of issues in the past, you and Leah Nyland reported that the U.S. opened antitrust investigations into both Microsoft and Nvidia. At the time, did we have a good sense of what it was specifically that they were looking into?
Yeah, I mean, in general, every government, every regulator around the world is looking at AI as being not only extremely fast growing, but also extremely important with all kinds of economic and indeed security implications. So our understanding at the time was, there were things like Nvidia's purchase of a small AI startup. There was obviously Microsoft's relationship with OpenAI, that all of these things that, the sense was that regulators wanted to get ahead of this, didn't want anything to become too entrenched before they had a close look.
Let me ask you a kind of a dumb question, Ian. But when you say this idea that there's concern here that NVIDIA is making it hard to switch to other suppliers or penalizing buyers that don't sort of use exclusively NVIDIA's products, are there competing products out there? I mean, at least in mass, that these companies would even be able to go to?
Yeah, no, that's a very good.
I'll just do a spoiler alert for you because I know there are some concerned people. Don't be concerned at all. I'll explain all of this. I'm already reading more information, and this is all a load of noise. Humans being humans, trying to be the first to say anything that will sell videos. Stay calm, folks. This is great. Don't worry about it. I'll explain it in a minute.
Question to remain. I mean, clearly NVIDIA is way ahead, but you've got to bear in mind a company like Amazon AWS, for example, and this is just an example, this doesn't have any relevance to our reporting, they do their own networking, they do their own servers. So NVIDIA, as we know, supplies all of those things, networking, servers, and the chips itself. So what could be under investigation, and what we believe is under investigation, is the relationship, between the supply given to those that aren't exclusive users of its stuff. And of course, AMD is in the market as well with accelerators.
Ian, with your decades of experience covering semiconductors both in Asia and in the US, you've seen this happen before where the government takes a closer look and starts sending subpoenas. How do you
So as you're watching this, I'm reading information coming into me. This is a real thing, but it's a grab to make videos, a grab to talk about it because it's trending so much. This is a huge opportunity to drive the market down for those that understand this, to buy it back and scare everybody out of the market. Don't get me wrong, it's not a conspiracy. It's not scare the little man, even though that's how people will interpret it. They'll go, oh, well, it's Wall Street trying to scare everybody so we all dump our stocks. And a lot of people will, of course. A lot of people will get margin called, of course. This happens to big companies all the time. And the scale of it, I'm just reading some footnotes here. The scale of this subpoena, it shouldn't even be on the news. It's irrelevant. It's small. It's going to have no impact whatsoever. It's not even just Nvidia. It's many chip manufacturers, but particularly Nvidia is getting all the attention just because it dominates the sector. And it's all going to go nowhere. We've had this happen over and over again. All big companies get sued. They get subpoenas. They get all kinds of appearances in court. How many times has Mark Zuckerberg been in court explaining his business? This is more of nonsense and busybodies sitting around doing what they do best, making stories, making news. This is a ripple on the pond. It won't even be felt. It's completely nonsense. And I'm going to show you something in a minute which will just bring it all into balance.
What do you expect is the next step? What will you be looking for in terms of how quickly this might move?
That is something that's difficult to say. What we can say is that clearly regulators are very keen to have a look at this particular area and to act quickly before it becomes entrenched, like we saw in the past with certain Microsoft products, like with Google Search years down the line.
Yeah, and Microsoft ended up going bankrupt, didn't they? And Google gone bankrupt as well. Oh dear, yeah. People got nothing better to do than to run around doing this. Oh dear, Nvidia, they've been manipulating their chip. Bloody hell. Let's have a word. Yeah, have a word. Carry on, mate.
And they start to take a look at it. This one feels much more on point and abrupt, and an effort to sort of get involved right at the beginnings almost of an industry.
Okay, marvellous. Well, shall we have a look and just draw this into your attention? Because apparently this is all big news and it's driving the markets down, and we should all be jumping up and down going, oh my God, sell the stock. Everything's going down the toilet. Hang on a minute. Wasn't we talking about this 2 months ago? Well, this is 2 months ago. 2 months ago on Yahoo Finance. Let's have a listen to this.
Regulators are cracking down on big tech's AI ventures. The DOJ and FTC reportedly planning probes into Nvidia, OpenAI, and Microsoft. And we also got the Wall Street.
Hang on a minute. This was 2 months ago. What's going on here? This can't be true. I thought hasn't the stock been rallying for months? Well, yeah, but apparently now it's real. Oh, okay. Bring the news out, drive it back down, buy it up again. Okay. And if you don't believe me, just so you can see, there. 2 months ago. Can you all see that? This was reported. This was brand new news 2 months ago.
Journal saying that the FTC has issued Microsoft a subpoena for more information about those AI deals. Yahoo Finance's Alexis Keenan has the details on that. Alexis.
Hi, ladies. Good morning. So, yeah, the reporting is that the agencies that regulate antitrust in the U.S., that they found a way to divvy up the work. So in this case, the DOJ taking a look at Nvidia's antitrust potential violations. Nothing there yet. This is just a probe. And then the FTC taking on OpenAI and Microsoft has that $13 billion investment in OpenAI. So maybe a 2-4 there, and it makes sense to split them up that way. Now, we knew back in January that the FTC had opened an investigation into Microsoft's investment in OpenAI.
Whoa. January. Now we're going back to January. It's September the 3rd today. I don't know how much Nvidia has gone up since January, but yeah, now we're in September. Oh, it's all over, folks. I think Meet Kevin's right. I think AI is about to go down. It's going to go bankrupt.
Google's investment and relationship with Anthropic, arrival there. Also in July, the FTC had opened an investigation into OpenAI's conduct. What is its conduct as far as being scrutinized by antitrust laws? But what's different here today is that the Wall Street Journal has a report saying that the FTC has officially taken a look. They're opening a probe to look at Microsoft's license.
You've repeated yourself several times saying the same thing. Hey, who cares? What's important is we sell videos. What's important is we go on the telly and talk a load of rubbish. I bet Jensen is shaking in his boots right now.
Licensing deal with Inflection AI. So the company, what the concern is reportedly, is that Microsoft is paying a licensing fee to resell Inflection's products. So $650 million there to do that. But the concern reportedly is that they also hired the company's staff, most of its staff, its co-founder. And the question there is whether that was a deal made to skirt antitrust rules, which under Hart-Scott-Rodino require companies that are merging, that are going to be acquired or just joint ventures. The threshold there is $119.5 million. So anything above that, that's the point at which you have to tell the FTC and the DOJ what you are doing, what your intentions are. And so the question is this masquerading, this licensing deal, as something else that should have been reported? So
I'm going to pause it because it's wasting my time. We're talking bloody nonsense. I tell you what's going to happen from experience of watching for 20, 30 years of companies get subpoenaed and go to court and sit in front of the DOJ and blah, 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 right? This isn't going to happen. All collapse, Nvidia down the toilet, everyone's losing their money, everyone's bankrupt, basically. What's going to happen is a subpoena and a court proceeding is going to take place. Could take years, by the way. And there's going to be some meetings and there's going to be some appearances in court. And it's all going to carry on as normal. And a few people are going to pay a few fines. And a few people are going to be told off by a few politicians. And a few people are going to be told, you shouldn't be doing this and yada, yada, yada. And business is going to carry on as normal. Nothing is going to happen. However, in the meantime, we can drive the stock price down because it's all over. Doom and gloom. And we all need to get out of the market quick because everything is about to go down the toilet. Shall we have a bit of a look in the news? Nvidia gets DOJ subpoena in escalating antitrust probe. Apparently started back in January, but the stock's been doing all right since then. But today, all of a sudden, it's important. This news just out a few moments ago. The US Justice Department sent subpoenas to Nvidia Corporation and other companies. Oh, so it's not just Nvidia. So it's not Nvidia doing anything wrong. It's kind of all AI chips. Well, it's a new sector. You're all kind of taking over the place a little bit. You're getting a little bit big for your boots. We can't have this. We got to stop this. We got to look at it. Well, we have been looking at it since January that we know of. Maybe it was 10 years ago. I don't know. Anyway, other companies, as it seeks evidence that the chip maker, but it says here other companies, but the chip maker violated antitrust laws, an escalation of its investigation into the dominant AI computing provider. The Department of Justice, which had previously delivered questionnaires to companies, not just Nvidia, companies, is now sending legally binding requests that oblige recipients to provide it with information. It's just a normal thing that happens all the time. Do you know how many times I got a similar thing for my theatre business? I had to produce documentation that was legally requested from me about my risk assessments when I put on my shows, my policies, my this, my that, some my other, all the time. And it was fine. It was a pain in the bloody arse, but I was a small little company of like 20, 30 people. Nvidia, Jensen will just send a few of his legal guys down the road and go, can you sort this out? And you go, yeah, I've been sat here all day asking these questions. It's driving me up the twist. Hey, I pay you good wages. Get on with it. That takes the government probe a step closer to launching a formal complaint. Okay. Anything else? Antitrust officials are concerned that Nvidia is making it harder to switch to other suppliers. Well, they're making it harder by the sheer fact that the way their systems are set up, they have dominance in the sector. They're not making it harder on purpose. There's no real competition to what they're doing. Nobody wants the other chips. They just want theirs. And if you remember, if you listen to the earnings report, live when Jensen provided us with the earnings, he explained how the stacks work. He explained that everyone's got different setups. Some have the same setup and we can just send in all our stuff. Some have a different stack and we have to sort of customize it and so on and so forth. So it's not complete dominance. No one can come in and do what we're doing. The fact of the matter is people are choosing Nvidia over everybody else because Nvidia do it better than anyone else. And when all of this settles down and the stock price finally settles down, everybody will buy back and go, oh, well, that was a waste of time then, as it always is. It's not even new news. It's been out since January. Nvidia shares, which suffered a record-setting rout on Monday, fell further in late trading after Bloomberg reported on the subpoenas. Thank God for Bloomberg then. If it wasn't for Bloomberg, we wouldn't know about this. Remember, I have a little bit of first-hand knowledge here. I've got a few friends that work at Bloomberg, and you may remember that Bloomberg contacted me to do an interview about Virgin Galactic. Remember that? We are the #1 channel for Virgin Galactic, and I did 2 interviews with Bloomberg that were going to air and come out. And it was being held back because they wanted a reaction from Virgin Galactic. And Virgin Galactic didn't like what I was saying. And they kept holding it back and holding it back. And in the end, I pulled the review. I don't need the publicity on Bloomberg. Thank you very much. I'll build my own channel and I'll get more views than you anyway. And I said, pull the interview. You're not showing it. And he went, the guy who did it with me, he said, well, you know, it's a good interview and you get lots of publicity. I don't care. I don't care. Pull it. I'm not going to be I'm not on the puppet strings of Virgin Galactic. If there's any puppet strings to be played with, I'm going to play with them. Virgin Galactic aren't going to tell me when they're going to react to my story about them being bad at what they do. So I said, forget it. Pull it. So I pulled it. Now, a few other YouTubers and a few other small Facebook pages, they allowed their story to be shown because I might get a few more views. I don't care about the views. I'm only going to have a conversation when it's a healthy conversation, not manipulated by anybody else trying to protect their own end of the story. So I pulled it. They can get on with it. Not interested. So here we go again. Bloomberg reported the subpoenas. Still, the stock has more than doubled this year. That's funny, considering this started in January, but all of a sudden now that it's doom and gloom. Fueled by explosive growth. Yeah, they sell stuff. They make money. That's all real. This is rubbish. As part of the probe, which Bloomberg previously reported on in June, all right, and January, but let's just go June. Investigators have been contacting other technology companies to gather information. The DOJ San Francisco office is taking the lead, running the inquiry, the people said. Presented by representative DOJ and Nvidia declined to comment. I bet they bloody did. There's nothing to bloody say. That's why. Anyway, there you go. There's some latest information on this bloody nonsense coming out of Bloomberg, and now we're getting all this story around Nvidia. I'm tired of this. Anyone tired of this? We're not the first, but at least I hope that this is the calmness and the truthfulness of it all. There you go. Click above my head for all the information. Down here for something else. Down here and over here for something else. There'll be a bit of other stuff. I'll tell you what there will be. Up here, we're going to have the biggest audience in the world for the FOMC report. More than Meet Kevin with 2 million subscribers. People are sick of this nonsense. Over here, I'll put the FOMC report. Join us live in 2 weeks from now. Down here, I shall put the Nvidia playlist, so you can catch up with all the nonsense like this, and you can keep going on and on and on, watching more rubbish. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other. Until we get a subpoena. Take care.